What up guys, this is Total Wars Master here doing another Napoleon Total War video. Today, I'm going over guerrillas. Guerrillas are a special unit able to be used by Spain in terms of multiplayer. There's 3 different cavalry ones and 3 different infantry ones. So first of all, what's special about them is you can deploy them outside of your normal deployment zone. There's an area around your opponent of which you cannot, but for the most part, most maps there's a large area you can. These are particularly useful on forward maps or maps of large strategic and point of positions, like Waterloo. Taking the houses with guerrillas is very valuable. Another benefit to Spain is their units as a whole are very cheap, which allows you to have extra money to be able to spend on things like experience points. But to get into the cavalry, first there's hussars, there's a lancer unit, and there's the Cazadores Voluntarios de Madrid. What they do is they can fire while mounted. They have 60 men. So this unit is fairly atypical. The problem with all these units as a whole, they have fairly low stats. I mean, even this Lancer unit, I mean, that's a fairly low charge bonus stat. The morale is extremely low. For the other two, not such a bad problem. The Cazadores Voluntarios de Madrid, their problem is their melee stats are awful. Horrendous. And their accuracy and reload really isn't that good either. But if we go to the infantry, there's a skirmisher unit. They have decent accuracy. Their reload isn't very good, and their melee is absolutely horrendous. But they do have stakes. They can do all that. There's more of a regular infantry. That's a light infantry unit. They have not quite good accuracy. Better reload, better melee. Melee attack is not very good. But and then there's a regular line unit, which is also nice. This one I have the full amount of experience added on, 9 experience. Now if we look at the stats now, it's not a guard unit. Like the accuracy and reloading all is fairly similar to British line. The melee is pretty good all in all. Well, it's not like a guard unit with max chevrons or even necessarily a guard unit itself. It will hold its own until reinforcements arrive, and that's really where these guerrilla units shine. Certain maps you can hide some lancers, say in a forest, which may not mean a lot, but when you're towards the end of the battle and if you have these 3 units coming out of the woodlands, that is very useful. But so let's take this unit up here and try and compare it to some British foot. But these units as a whole, they're cheap. Certain maps, they are very good. You certainly get a lot of flexibility from them. I mean, if nothing else, say it was really important to your strategy to hold the road up here. Well, now you can do that. You'd have infantry and cavalry support. Actually, on grassy 2v2 on multiplayer, you can usually fit a thin line of lancers or other guerrilla units against your opponent. But let's try and test these 2 units out against each other. So should get this one in 3 ranks 2. But guerrilla units really aren't like the best. They're very nuanced. Like most Spain players, if you bring guerrillas, they don't offer a lot. But what they are good for is that singular strategic game where you need that extra position. And right now what we're seeing is these infantry not necessarily outshooting this King's German Legion. But what we do know is they do have a higher stat for morale. But like, I love using these units on Waterloo. It's a not very fair map, So you really need every advantage you can get. So being able to temporarily take those houses with them really is a huge win still. So they're definitely losing combat still. They're wavering. Shaken. Steady. And we can see it. They do run. The King's German Legion did beat them. But that's not what the point of them is for. They are to hold positions, and if nothing else, what that did there is that took up minutes. It took about 3 minutes if we played it out, then fast forward it, maybe 2. But that lets you be able to do things like run up support. That way you can try and actually win the battle. Because sacrificing one unit to gain the superior position really is completely worth it. Even though these Lancers are fairly subpar. That doesn't mean they are bad. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. That's a little bit about Guerrillas, my opinions on them. There's certain maps they're really good for, but as a whole, I do not think Spain is a very good faction. But this little hint of nuance that they get from Guerrillas really puts them in a spot to be the top dog on some maps. But that's it for this video, guys. Tell me your opinions about Guerrillas down below. Total Wars Master.